I didn't start the recording, sorry.
He has to this story. When asked about any tensions between the two brothers in the BBC Panorama documentary from 2013, Zaid said,
And I lost 2.5 hours.
nothing at all.
Oops.
It is a very good brotherly relationship, no tension at all. That sounds nice. However, it's one thing to look back on the relationship with rose-tinted glasses given the circumstances of Said's death, but it turns out that what Zaid said could not have been further from the truth. Did Zaid move out because he'd found his own place and no wanted to be a burden on his brother? No, he was moved out because the brothers had started having an argument which got so heated that the police were called. Zaid moved out shortly after and never saw his brother again. In the 10 months between him moving out and the killings, the two had only communicated through lawyers. So what was going on? Why are they communicating through lawyers? Why do they need to communicate? Do they have any business together? Did they have business together? I don't think so. It seems to have started sometime in early 2011 when their father, Kadem, allegedly told Said that Zaid had made him sign a blank will and he wondered what had happened to it. Said searched through the house, eventually finding it and telling his friend James Matthews in a series of online messages, "I was nowhere mentioned," and calling it all fraud. As far as Said was concerned, he was entitled to an equal share of his father's estate and had never been told anything different. We already mentioned the small fortune sitting in the Swiss bank accounts, and along with Karim's apartment in Spain and some other investments, the total inheritance was looking to be worth around £2 million. That is a lot of money, probably enough money to be killing over. When French investigators found the copies of the two wills in Said's caravan, they realised that the two brothers definitely hadn't been as chummy as Zaid had been making out. When pressed in the Panorama documentary, Zaid keeps his cool and says that he's been being investigated for possible fraud and that he can't really talk about this. Said was doing a deep dive into his brother's activities and was messaging his friend James saying, "I've been gathering information on my brother. I'm shocked at the information I've gathered. Can he really be my brother?" Other friends also confirmed that Said was openly saying that he didn't trust Zaid anymore. Zaid, on the other hand, tries to spin this in a positive light. In the Panorama program, he says, "Every family has disagreements. We mustn't exaggerate them." Dude, the police were called because you're having an argument, bro. There's never been a disagreement in my family where the police have been called. He seems to try and separate the feud that was going on from the real relationship between the two, but sorry Zaid, they are most definitely fundamentally intertwined. Maybe he was less emotional about it than Said, having been the one to cut him out of their dad's inheritance after all, but to continue to suggest that they were fine as brothers after not having spoken for nearly a year is ludicrous. He also said that the fact they were only communicating through solicitors was positive, not negative, as it meant everything was being handled in a professional way. Fine, but the financial information was the only thing they were communicating about. There was no other communication between them. Okay, so they're communicating about the father's estate via lawyers. It came out that sometime in 2010,
Gonna get something to drink, I'll be right back.
From his Geneva bank saying that...
How's it? Gotta pee too, I'll be right back. Oh, I'm stiff. I've been walking so much. Oh. Okay. I didn't get my drink. I'm sorry, I'll be right back. Sorry about that.
Someone had requested a credit card linked to his account. It had been flagged as the signature looked dodgy and the request had come from England, whereas Kadam was living in Spain. He confirmed it hadn't been him and the request was denied. Guess who had tried to siphon the money from his father's accounts? Zaid. When questioned about this again, he said he couldn't talk about it for legal reasons. In the end, both brothers contacted the bank to ask that they not release funds to the other. Apparently, Kadam and Saad also financed the flat in Chessington that Zaid moved into, but was registered only in Zaid's name. He claimed that Saad hadn't wanted to be included. Zaid had also tried to be the sole name on the paperwork for Kadam's flat in Spain, which his father bought when he retired. Kadam insisted that he at least be named as well as Zaid. When asked by Panorama why Saad's name was not included in what would have been an asset for the benefactors of Kadam's will, Zaid said that Saad hadn't been there at the time, and if they really wanted to find out, they should ask his father about it. His father had already died the year before. Saad had taken up a legal block on Kadam's will and was also trying to stop Zaid from selling the Spanish flat and therefore pocketing all of the cash. And it was all this documentation and proof of whatever else Zaid was getting up to that he had with him in France. Maybe he just took it for safekeeping, or maybe he was going to take it to the bank as proof that he should have sole access to the account. We'll never know. What we do know, however, is that there's no way anyone could describe this relationship as having no tension at all unless you are Zaid al-Hili. Everything he says on film comes across as very matter-of-fact. Looking back on the crime in a 2022 Channel 4 documentary, he's still trying to separate the inheritance issues from his personal relationship with Saad. He says, quote, "As far as I'm concerned, there was no dispute. The question here was inheritance. To me, it was an irrelevant matter." End quote. So irrelevant that you were actively trying to cut your younger brother out at all turns. It's like, yeah, this wasn't irrelevant to you. This is a big, you're like trying all sorts of weird tricks, allegedly. When pressed about the blank will in the more recent Channel 4 documentary, he says there was only ever one version of the will, and that his father had put Zaid's name on it, and then asked him to add Saad's name. Apparently Saad was aware of this and had, quote, photocopied the original will, and that's where the confusion arose. Call me stupid, but is it normal to add one child and then ask them to add their sibling? I highly doubt it. Why wouldn't Kadam have just added both names at the same time? And if Zaid's telling the truth and did have to add Zaid's name, which we don't know if he did or not, wouldn't that be dated later and therefore supersede whatever will was originally in place, so it would be clear what had happened? I think it would be easy to tell the difference between a photocopy of a blank version or a version where you are mentioned and a version where you are. Also calling it the original will is basically admitting that there was more than one, contradicting what Zaid said about there only having been one will. Really, when you think about it, the blank will scenario seems far more likely than the half-filled-in version. Yes. Agreed. Following the altercation, which apparently became physical at the Claygate house, Zaid had moved out. It was then that Saad changed the locks and got a new security system, seemingly fearful that his brother might return with ill intentions. It appeared that Zaid wanted to buy Saad's share of the Claygate house or have Saad buy him out, but Saad didn't want to move and couldn't afford to buy Zaid out either. Anyway, as you can see, tensions definitely abounded. Zaid went to the police station voluntarily at the start of the investigation, and as all this background detail started coming out, we get all sorts of articles again like Control Freak Zaid is questioned, Family Feud link in Alps killing, and Family Feud may have led to executions in the Alps. He was also questioned in a police safe house for several hours 2 weeks after the murders and not charged with anything or arrested. Throughout the time since his brother was killed, Zaid had steadfastly repeated that this was a French crime and things had been exaggerated and twisted to point to him and the family's Iraqi background, and that time and effort should have been spent looking for the real killer, and it was wasted. 23 days after the murders, his flat was searched in an effort to find any information about the dispute between the brothers that could link Zaid to the murders, but nothing was found. Zaid had an alibi for the day of the crime. He was at the seaside with a friend, and nobody was really suggesting he was the trigger man anyways, just that he had orchestrated the killing to clear a way for him to inherit his father's estate and or cover up his attempts at fraud. When you boil these things down, money is often at the heart of them, and people have been killed over a lot less than a couple of million quid. And what about his nieces? Zaid didn't travel to France to see them or be with them as they recovered from their horrible ordeal. Zaid explains this by saying that he asked English police whether he could go or not, seeing as he had been questioned about the whole thing. He never got a reply, so didn't risk it. He was also a bit leery about going to France at all, as far as the French team were concerned, Zaid was the only person on their radar. In fact, in a televised conference held not long after the crime, French prosecutor Eric Milord said, quote, "We need to find family members who can be trusted. The little girls cannot be handed over to the first person who presents identity papers in the name of Al-Hili," for example. As there weren't any other close Al-Hili family members in the picture, Zaid took this as an insult intentionally directed at him, with Milord calling his trustworthiness into question on international television. The girls ended up living with relatives on their mother's side and were given new names to protect their identities. Good. It had also transpired that Zaid had made many calls to several numbers in Romania in the weeks leading up to the murders. These calls had stopped just before his brother and family were killed. When asked about this Romanian connection, Zaid pleaded ignorance, saying he didn't know anyone in Romania, and why didn't the police just call the numbers if they wanted to find out who was on the other end? Has he hired a Romanian hitman? That seems quite likely, in my opinion, allegedly. This extra detail seemed to be a tipping point in the investigation, and on the 24th of June 2013, 9 months after the killings, Zaid was arrested for conspiracy to murder. It's not clear why it took this long to arrest him, as Swiss and French prosecutors had handed over all their findings months before, but maybe differences in international law were to blame. When questioned, after getting advice from a lawyer, Zaid said no comment to everything. And here's where it gets a bit odd. In the Channel 4 documentary, British investigator Mark Preston said, quote, "It is important to understand the reason for arrest can equally be to disprove that person's involvement as proving it. Call me stupid again, but I've never heard of someone being arrested to prove they're innocent. Now, you could be brought in and questioned, and then you get a rock-solid alibi, but I don't think they're going to be arresting you first." Anyway, Zaid was released on bail as the investigation continued, and large holes started to show up in the case against him. The first, and probably the most obvious, if the brothers hadn't spoken for nearly a year, how would Zaid have known where Saad had been at that particular time on that particular day? Don't know, social media of the kids, perhaps? 2012? Was Instagram around? There was stuff. Facebook. According to Zainab, the daughter, it had been her choice to go on a walk that day, so even the family themselves didn't know where they were going to be at 3:40 that afternoon. Zaid also pointed out that if anyone did want to have his brother whacked, it would have been far easier to do it in England, not wait until the whole family was out of their routine in a random beauty spot in another country. It also transpired that when French prosecutor Eric Milord looked at his notes again, the calls to Romania had actually been made from Saad's phone, not Zaid. So the theory of hiring a foreign hitman from Romania went out the window. It seems that the police never did manage to trace the numbers to find out why Saad had been calling them in the first place. It's not clear if the numbers were being called from Saad's mobile or the Claygate house phone. And as French paper Le Parisien also reported that Iqbal's sister had called numbers in Romania from her house in Reading, it just seems that maybe they did actually know people in Romania. Okay, foreign hitman thing out the window, never mind. After 16 months of being under this cloud of suspicion, police found no evidence linking Zaid to the murders, so he was released with no further action being taken. Understandably, he moved away from the area, although his reputation had been dragged through the mud on a very public stage. I was unable to see whether he was charged with anything relating to fraud, but it seems not. Allegedly, he did do some pretty dodgy stuff though, right? In my opinion. Like, the blank will is mad suspicious. Not about the murder or anything, but it does seem a little bit like, that doesn't seem allowed, in my opinion, allegedly. For what it's worth, even though he's not the most honourable man on the planet and definitely comes across as a bit of an odd duck, I don't think Zaid Al-Hili had anything to do with the murders of his brother, sister-in-law, and her mother. Zaid himself maintains the view that Sylvia Moyer, the French cyclist also shot to death, was the actual intended target of the attack, and the Al-Hilis were the collateral damage. So, let's look into that theory. Sylvain Mollier's situation. Remember that weird quote from a few minutes ago by Mark Preston about arresting somebody to prove they're innocent? Here it is again, but without the ending chopped off like I did the first time. It's important to understand the reason for arrest can equally be to disprove that person's involvement as proving it, because by this point, I had a different theory which could change everything, and if I was right, there was no way Zaid could be behind the killings. Which still begs the question as to why he was arrested in the first place. But anyway, Preston agreed with Zaid in that he also believed Sylvain Mollier was the main target of the shooting. Wait, so the guy on the motorbike rolls up, shoots at the cyclist in the car, assuming with his helmet still on, then he chases the car down and executes 3 people professionally. Why wouldn't he shoot the cyclist and then just whiz off on his bike? Job done. If the cyclist was the target, this seems very odd. Here's why. The conclusions of a ballistics report matched what Preston believes, that Mollier was shot first. I've also seen reports that Mollier's blood was on the bottom of Sard's shoe, meaning that the cyclist was already down as Sard was running back into the car. The report suggested that Mollier was shot twice, and when he tried to get away, he was shot twice more. Side heard the shots and was hit in the back as he tried to get back in the car, with Zainab being hit in the shoulder. After the adults in the car were killed, the gunman returned to shoot Moyer again under the eye. Maybe the gun then jammed or he was out of bullets, so he hit Zainab with it instead of shooting her and left her for dead. Moyer was shot 5 times. The most
God damn it, I was doing another fucking soul trial.
You don't need to be a seasoned investigator to realise that the person who was shot first, last, and most is not going to be the witness. It's going to be the intended target. Okay, well, there we go. I didn't realise that he had gone over to him and shot him in the head afterwards, like he'd shot the people in the car. So, I mean, yeah, that is weird, isn't it? I'm not sure I'm quite yet buying it, but it's definitely curious. In the French prosecutor's mind, however, it was not scientifically possible to work out exactly who was shot in what order, because 21 bullets had been fired and what some reports say was only around 30 seconds. To Eric Milord, someone killing Moyer with intent, then taking out a whole family afterwards, was just not something you could get on board with. The area the shootings took place in, however, was very small, so if one person was the target, the other people were literally right there, so surely any shooter would have had to dispatch the whole lot to avoid leaving any witnesses, regardless of who he was originally aiming for. But he only doesn't have to leave witnesses if they've seen his face. I'm assuming he's like not got real plates on his bike, because that would be insane. So yeah, I don't know. But was there anything about Moyer that could have made him the target of the attack? He was the only French victim, living about 10 miles away from Chevaline and working not far from Lake Annecy in the small city called Eugene. We said near the start that the factory made nuclear reactor components, so it could have been Moyer and not Sard Al-Hili who was selling secrets. It didn't take much investigation to rule this out. Moyer was a welder, not privy to any research or classified information, and the factory he worked in makes things like ingots for the aeronautics and nuclear industry and extruded hollows, which according to their website are used to make tracks at the Montreal-Juni site and are obtained by the extrusion of forged and machined blocks. So now you know, fascinating stuff. Anyway, there didn't seem to be much scope for useful secrets at this factory, so that seems to knock that idea on the head. Also, at the time of his death, Moyer had somehow wangled an impressive 3 years leave of absence from work. Oh my god, that is a long time. It is France, though, you know. If any country in Europe is going to be giving someone 3 years of leave, it would be France. This might have been paternity leave, as he just had a baby with his girlfriend, but technically he was unemployed, so didn't have access to anything. This now sprouts off into more personal reasons why someone would want Moyer dead. Moyer's family, as we mentioned earlier, had never given any press interviews or spoken publicly about the case. They've invoked French privacy laws and had a lawyer monitoring coverage, and had built up what was described by British journalists as a wall of silence around the case. A note from the family's lawyer, however, did say that far from blocking information from coming out, they were just trying to protect their privacy and didn't want to interfere in the investigation. And, I mean, that's completely fair enough. So let's get back to the other possible motives that came up regarding Moyer. Money is one of the most popular reasons for murder, so is there anything to it in this case? Yeah, I just saw the next line. Like, this guy's a welder, and he's riding around on a 4,000 euro bike. I mean, I get that people are really into their hobbies, and they spend a lot of money on their hobbies, but that is a really expensive bike. Moyer was riding around on a bike worth several thousand euros, and had just stopped working for 3 years, so presumably his girlfriend would be the one supporting him for the foreseeable future. Luckily for both of them, Claire Schutz, the girlfriend in question, who worked as a pharmacist, came from a wealthy family. Well, there we go. In an article from the Times with the headline, "Slain Alpine Cyclist in Feud Over Lover's Fortune." Oh my god. Is that a headline from the Times? Holy Times. Do better! A local council official who had worked with Schultz's father said the following: Sylvain came from a down-to-earth family, but had growing claims on Claire's fortune.
It's the media.
This was something Claire's family was not happy about. They were particularly concerned about Sylvain's spending. There was a bit of dispute over what was going on, and this got worse when Sylvain took 3 years off to effectively live off Claire's money. It has been reported that Claire's father was the one who recommended Moyer ride up that route on the fateful day, although it's been speculated that both he and the Al-Hilis were aiming for somewhere else, and both missed a turn, maybe explaining why the expensive road bike ended up going on such a badly maintained road. The fortune in question was a pharmacy whose ownership had been gifted to Claire by her parents, making her a millionaire on paper, except that it didn't. The story didn't hold up to scrutiny for very long. While Molière might have been sponging off his girlfriend's wealthy folks, Claire hadn't been gifted the pharmacy. She'd bought it from her parents, although the payments were interest-free. They weren't married either, meaning that legally he didn't have any claim on her assets, earnings, or inheritance. While he might not have been a particularly popular person with the Schutz family, would they really resort to having him murdered when he'd just fathered their grandchild? No, they're not even married, so he's got no claim to the fortune. So, which isn't even a fortune. So it's like, no, don't be ridiculous. As French prosecutor Eric Malord said on Panorama, if all disagreements ended in murder, there'd be a lot more of them. Very well said. Also, if Molière was the intended target, would the gunman really have also murdered an entire car full of people who happened to be there at the same time? That is exactly what I said. Wouldn't it have made more sense to wait until the coast was clear, or pick another day entirely to eliminate one lone target rather than attacking a child and killing 3 other people? Or maybe he panicked. And this is why French investigators were so bent on pressing the Al-Hili storyline, and the French media have been so silent about the Molière angle. Were they actually helping a wealthy white local family cover up a targeted assassination gone horribly wrong? Because he was quite local, could potentially have been trackable on his route, and was shot the most amount of times, Molière remains the intended target for British investigator Mark Preston. He also says, quote, "From my perspective, there wasn't as much scrutiny of Molière being the intended victim as there had been of the Al-Hilis being the intended victims. I do think that the depth to which we delved into the Al-Hilis got to the point where we could absolutely prove that they were not the targets. With Molière, there were still questions. Because of the nuclear and satellite angles connecting Sylvain Molière and Saad Al-Hili, police did investigate links between them, but there was no evidence that they knew each other or had ever communicated before. Brett Martin, the British cyclist who was the first person to discover the crime scene, was also briefly looked into, as he was an ex-RAF pilot, which could have potentially signalled a link between one or both murdered men, but again, nothing has ever been found. Yeah, that was just a random dude on a bike ride. From the angle of his wounds, it seems as though Molière was bending forward, maybe to look at his bike chain as it had slipped off when police examined the bike at the crime scene. Was this just a very unfortunate coincidence that his bike needed to be repaired at the worst possible spot at the worst possible time? The 2 dead men have been given the most press, both in terms of possible motives for their deaths, but also just as characters in the story. We know loads about Saad Al-Hili, but what about the other adults in the car? The 2 women? I mean, one's his wife and the other's his mother. I think you said that the mother's probably not the target. She was like a 74-year-old grandma. And the wife, we don't know anything about, so let's see. Background figures in all the press reports. Could one of them have actually been the intended target after all? Have you heard of Kelly Thompson? I have not heard of Kelly Thompson. Who is Kelly Thompson? Iqbal's Secret Life. Remember Saad's wife, Iqbal Al-Hili? It was hard to find out anything about her that wasn't related to the murder or to her marrying Saad. She seemed to be a quiet, respectful, normal person, a qualified dentist with 2 children just getting on with life. So it might be a shock for you to hear that Iqbal Al-Hili had committed a criminal offence. Ooh, okay. Let's backtrack a bit and fly over to Louisiana in the United States sometime in the very late 90s. Okay. Think outdoor pool parties, barbecues, and other related good old Americana stuff. Jim Thompson, a middle-aged cigar-smoking, motorbike-loving white man, surprised his family by marrying a younger woman of Middle Eastern descent after only knowing her for a short space of time. Okay, her name was Kelly, and she soon captured the hearts of Jim's family, including his sister Judy and his son, who was about 12 or 13 when she joined the household as his new stepmother. They had nothing but good things to say about her, and photos of Kelly at the time show a smiling, relaxed young woman wearing the traditional Western uniform of jeans and various sleeveless blouses, while Jim hugs her in the backyard, or she laughs with friends by the pool. Her stepson recalls her by saying, "She was very, very beautiful, not what I expected from seeing women in Iraq all covered up." While sudden, the relationship between Jim and Kelly seemed to have been a genuine friendship at the very least, and when about 18 months after she arrived she decided to go, Kelly left a lot of people quite upset. Judy, her sister-in-law, was perturbed by the hurry Kelly was in and was left with the impression that something was going on. Kelly's stepson recalled that Kelly had been a dentist, but her qualifications weren't accepted in the state, so he'd thought she'd left to start working again. A year and a half after she'd come into their lives, she'd gone. And the next time Judy heard anything about her former sister-in-law was when the FBI called her in 2012 saying that she'd been murdered, and her real name was Iqbal Al-Hili. Can you imagine just getting that? Hey, remember that? You know, you're like, what? So let's unpick this a bit. Neither the Thompson nor the Al-Hili sides could reconcile that Kelly and Iqbal were one and the same. The other version was totally the opposite to the one that they were used to. Friends of Iqbal's in the UK were shocked when they found out about her stay in the US, and she'd never mentioned anything about it. Zaid had no idea that his sister-in-law had been married to an American until French investigators made it public. Iqbal had married Saad in 2003 under a maiden name of Iqbal al-Safar and had not mentioned on any documentation that she'd already been married just 4 years before. She had stated that she was single. Whether a marriage to Jim Thompson was green card related or a whim or a genuine romance, we'll never really know, but they had apparently got divorced after a few months and then she moved back to England. While it's maybe understandable why she chose to hide this previous marriage, the fact is that not disclosing it made Iqbal guilty of perjury, as she had made a false declaration to the registrar. Oh, I didn't even know that was a crime. Okay.
I mean, yeah, you can't lie about that.
Why had she gone to Louisiana in the first place, and why did she leave so suddenly?
Immigration will get on you for that,
maybe she was running away from something or someone when she flew to the US and then ended up being forced to return home. I don't believe Saad and Iqbal had an arranged marriage, so I don't think pressure was on about that particular relationship. Judy Thompson thinks that her brother, Jim, knew more about Iqbal or Kelly's circumstances than he let on, and if you're wondering why we haven't heard from him at all, well, we'll come to that in a moment. Oh my god, fascinating. This is bizarre. Back in France, following the murders, investigators were looking at any and every lead they could find. Had Iqbal's past finally caught up with her? Was her first husband the person she was actually running away from? According to the UK tabloid The Mirror, Iqbal and Jim had stayed in touch ever since she'd left the States, with Judy quoted as saying they would email each other. She definitely did keep in touch with my brother. The sketch of the suspect on the motorbike with the goatee bore a resemblance to the American, and he did know how to ride motorbikes. However, he was discounted as the gunman when it was discovered that not only was he in Louisiana on the day his wife had died, but Jim Thompson had also died on that very same day. You are shitting me, dude. No. Jim was found dead in his car after complaining of feeling ill, with the official cause of death given as a heart attack. Is this just a coincidence? Or was he also professionally taken out? No autopsy was carried out. He was 60 years old and died 7 hours after his ex-wife had been killed. When his link to the Al-Hili was uncovered, French police contacted the FBI to request that Thompson's body be exhumed to check for foul play. His sister Judy also told the Channel 4 documentary that she thought Jim might have been poisoned, although she does preface this with, "I know this sounds really crazy." It does, but also, holy shit. In an article in The Independent, however, she's quoted as saying, "I really believe he died of a heart attack, but some strange things did happen during his marriage to Kelly. I suppose it could be a possibility." The "it" being poisoning, by the way. Basically, it seems that Judith Thompson will just agree with whatever angle is being put to her. Also, she could have been poisoned. Again, we'll never know if a heart attack was what ultimately did it for Jim Thompson, but he had high blood pressure, smoked cigars, and according to his son, quote, "he was an overweight fella who ate what tasted good." His son did not give permission for the exhumation, as to him a heart attack was the most likely explanation for his father's death. Most people would agree, but you'd also have to agree that it was one heck of a coincidence, isn't it just? That is crazy. Going back to the Mirror article again, it ends with, "An outlandish theory for the quadruple murder is that Iqbal and Jimmy agreed on a suicide pact, and once Jimmy heard that the hit had been accomplished on the other side of the Atlantic, he ended his own life." This is probably the least likely hypothesis of the whole case, and the Mirror is probably the least trustworthy source I used in this whole thing, but I figured I should put it in just in case anyone else had thought of it. No, I don't think so. Their apparent exchanging of emails was also called a secret affair for 9 years by the paper, but that's probably stretching it, as the two never met up in person again as far as anyone's aware. If their love had been as deep as all that, she wouldn't have returned to England in the first place. After settling down to life with Saad, a family friend remembers him teasing Iqbal about her reluctance to get things such as an email address. She seemed to be worried that people might be able to find out where she was or track her through an email, but he would jokingly say things along the lines of, "Really? Who do you think you are?" At the time, the friend thought nothing of it, but of course, it seemed suspicious in the wake of the murders. Maybe there was indeed someone looking for Iqbal Al-Hili. Sahalia's family troubles. Who's Sahalia? Oh, is this the mother? Now to the last victim of the shooting, Iqbal's mother, Sahalia Alalaf. Surely this 74-year-old grandmother didn't have any possible reason to be the main target of this attack. Well, in my original research for this piece, nothing had come up, but then an extra bit of searching brought me to an article such as Eldest Victim of French Shootings, Lived with Violent Son, and France Shooting, Alleged Violent Past of Son of Alp's Murder Victim. So what's going on here? Sahalia and her husband, Abdul Al-Safir, lived in Stockholm with their adult son who was suspected to suffer from schizophrenia, although I couldn't see that it had been officially diagnosed. This son, Haydar Thaha, had repeatedly violently threatened and attacked his parents over the course of several years and spent some time in a psychiatric unit. Between 2001 and 2007, police had been called to the house at least 8 times due to his violent outbursts, although his parents never ended up pressing charges. Both Sahalia and Abdul were subjected to years of verbal threats to their lives and physical attacks at the hands of their son. In September 2012, at the time of the murders, Haydar had not been seen at the Stockholm apartment for around a month, according to his neighbors.
I think I'm going to switch games here. I've been doing this for a long time.
His father, Abdul, had died the year before this, so couldn't provide any information either way. Could Haydar have been the one behind the killings, either personally or by hiring someone else? I couldn't find any pictures of him online, but would he fit the description of slightly bald, dark-skinned, no glasses that the forestry worker allegedly saw in the other right-hand drive BMW going towards the scene of the crime? I assume this was the family's BMW going towards the scene of the crime, not another one, and that the forestry workers had just misidentified the colour. It's unlikely that this would have been Haydar, as he also apparently suffers from obsessive-compulsive disorder and has to live in a care home in the UK since the death of his mother, so probably wouldn't have been able to follow Sahalia all the way to Annecy. And would he have any real motive to do this? Well, as usual, money could conceivably have been a factor, as he would have been entitled to compensation from the French authoritative body due to the fact that both his sister and mother died as a result of a criminal offence. As of 2019, he has been denied these funds, however, as his father's name was spelled differently on his birth certificate to Iqbal's, so the body issuing the funds says there is no proof that he is related to her. While this has been put down to the way various Arabic names are translated into English by his lawyers, and they obviously have the same mother, the funds de guarantee have not paid out. I don't know how much this would have been, and again, this is one of the less likely motives, but it's still a thread for us to pull on. I can't imagine, there's a victims' compensation fund, I think it's called in the UK, and you don't get a lot of money if a crime's been committed against you. Of course, we're not suggesting that just because someone's mentally ill it means they'll kill people. Haydar did have a track record of physical and verbal attacks on his parents, and so I think we're justified in mentioning it in the least. Yeah, fair enough, I don't think so though. I don't think it's him. Now we've got the main possible motives and some of the related suspects out of the way, it's time to get back to the investigation and see who else has been in the frame for these murders. The suspects. The odd thing about the gunman was that because of all the execution-style headshots, people, especially the media, were quick to jump to some kind of hired hitman, a professional who really knew what they were doing. In actuality, all of the shootings were from extreme close range, and 3 of the victims were sitting in a car with nowhere to go, so it wouldn't have taken a professional marksman to be able to hit them all so accurately. No, I don't think so, but if you're a hitman and the other people don't have guns, are you going to go closer to get a better shot, especially if you're wearing a helmet? Yes, of course! Why wouldn't you? Ballistics reports suggest that Sylvain Mollier took 2 in the chest first, with Saad being shot in the back and Zainab in the shoulder, so basically nobody was shot in the head until they were already down or were stuck in the car. Yeah, the reason I think it's professional isn't because of the accuracy, it's because afterwards he went round and he shot everyone in the head twice. There were scraps of potential DNA left behind, but the bullet casings were still at the scene, which might have been
that was
a time issue for the shooter,
I'm done.
as the road was clearly not that remote. Also, the
I'm done with
entire
the season.
circumstance of the shooting doesn't hold up to the idea that it was a professional hit. As the Panorama documentary notes, the hitman may have been a good marksman, but killing a family, including women and a cyclist, and shooting a child does not bear the hallmarks of a carefully planned state assassination. Well, I don't necessarily think a state was behind it. I just think it was someone, a professional hitman was hired. Also, Zainab survived.
Well, this is a good place to move over then.
Nice. In the car, so if it was a planned hit, it went pretty sideways. The weapon, a gun from the Second World War or before, was also an odd choice for a professional hit, agreed. The most obvious person police should have been looking for is the motorcyclist with the distinctive helmet, who was seen driving slowly by Brett Martin, was seen at or near the parking area by the single forestry worker, and who actually spoke to the 2 forestry workers on the private road. A sketch was made, but in order to keep from scaring the possible perpetrator away, it wasn't immediately released. In fact, it was not released until 13 months later, making it almost impossible to be able to follow up on any leads people might have had at the time. As it was only this motorcyclist and possibly the silver BMW that were seen near the parking area at the time of the crimes. I'm not sure what to think about the sighting of this second BMW. Nobody else claims to have seen it, which either means it managed to drive off on one of the forestry roads without being spotted, or the man who saw it actually saw the Alldayerrydaybaby maroon BMW, but maybe thought the colour was a reflection from the trees, or was just completely mistaken about the details. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. If it was a legitimate spot, this could point to a collaboration between the man in the car and the motorcyclist, with both of them splitting up and heading their separate ways after the murders took place. We already mentioned how close Annecy is to Geneva. Anyone able to get on a road out could make it to Switzerland or Italy without too much trouble. Even if the motorcyclist everyone saw wasn't the killer, surely he would have come forward as a possible witness or just to clear himself of suspicion, given that there was major press at the time that the killings took place in such a small town. Eventually, police did start closing in on other people who weren't Zaid al-Hili, so let's take a look at the list and see what you think. Okay, yeah, I'm really not convinced by anything so far. I do kind of think it was professionally done, but I have no idea by who or why. I'm not convinced by any of the theories so far. Eric Devoso. There seemed to be something of a breakthrough in February 2014, nearly a year and a half after the killings. Police have been diligently tracking down all 4,000 plus mobile phones that had pinged at the nearest tower on the day of the murders, and one of those belonged to a man named Eric Devoso. Not only was he local to the area, living a mere 2 miles from the scene of the shootings, he was an ex-police officer who had also been fired for anger issues. He had a motorbike and had applied for a personal license to carry a firearm. It was actually the fact that he also looked very similar to the sketch of the mystery motorcyclist that finally got police to knock on his door. They found that he owned a large number of World War II era weapons, including approximately 40 guns. What they didn't find, however, was the same type of motorbike and helmet that the suspect had been seen with. Also, Devoso didn't have the same type of pistol used in the crime. To me, this is hard.
I'm going to get on my other character and have her train. I'm going to have her pull like all of her gold and have her sit at the bank. I didn't think about doing this, but I can because I've got 2 characters on Immortal 2 account, and I've only been using one's training, and I think I should be using both. Eventually, I might enjoy having that mage character. They might improve this game over time. And where am I now? Cool.
Autopilot engaged. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
She's learning petrology, which seems dumb.
Approaching Stargate.
She's broke.
Autopilot jumping.
Never mind. I'm just gonna log to the other character. She's so far off from the priority that I thought I might enjoy playing like a main mage, and I will. It'll be nice to have a main mage, but
Warping to Stargate.
I'm not gonna use her yet.
Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Stargate. Warp drive active.
Let me show you. Think, please, come again.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active. Approaching Stargate.
Sorry.
Autopilot jumping.
Where are my bandages? Really?
Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
They're not here. Well, that's okay. I'll just kill this guy and go. Okay, here we go.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping. Warping to station. Warp drive active.
Maybe I'll go down to the basement since I've been successful the last couple of runs.
Approaching station.
Oh, nice. I made it. Nice. Oh, God. Stop. Stop.
Docking request accepted. Autopilot disabled. Waypoint reached.
The Sewer King. Let's take Renown.
I have what you're looking for. Deal. Nice talking to you.
If I look at my statistics, they actually really like me. I've got a 45. All right, we're going to the sewers. If I die, I'll quit the game, play something else. I've had 2 successful runs on this character's like kit, so I don't feel too bad. And I've ran 2 missions, and the pig doesn't have anything. I hear somebody walking here, so let's see what we see. Hunger's at 197. Good, we made it back here with another venture. While she's healing, I'll go do more. It's annoying that there's 2 of them. Fuck, I forgot my damn bandages again. But we got 2 scoundrels, which is good. But I've got to extract because I don't have a way to heal the pig. Gotta go get my bandages. I don't know why or how I don't have them. Seems fucking weird, but okay. Came all the way to the sewers just to have to go back. 'Cause I hate shit like this. Go back for one item. How do my band-aids end up like that? It's so stupid. There.
Let me show you. Thank you. Please come again.
I like medieval stuff like this more than guns. I gotta turn on the Daggerfall OST because that shit was good. Okay, let's do some mortal fighting and shit. Oh. Zuzaza. Fine, if he wants to leave me alone, he can leave me alone. I want to sit for a moment and get my mana back. Go out to the belt, I guess, because, you know. I like the fire crystals are cheap. What was that? It was human. No, it's more mobs. I like this more than Daggerfall. How many of these scoundrels do we need? I need another 5. Hey, it's a ring and some, what is that? It's coal porridge. Nice.
Warp drive active.
Wait, I have Spurt. I actually want Corrupt. This guy leaves bags everywhere, which is stupid, but I don't think it matters. This guy like killed this whole fucking dungeon. It's fine, but it's kind of annoying. Yep, he killed this like whole place and then he just left. This guy went through and killed the whole fucking dungeon. God damn it. If I stay down here, they'll respawn. I don't know. There's some dudes. He seemed wary of this pool for some reason. Kind of love this because it's like Beastmaster but 3D. She went down quick. Can I corrupt him from like super far? Wow, he's really good at like But you can overheal them? That seems weird. Damn it. Sit down, get the mana back. I need to replace my rings. I totally spaced it, but yeah, my rings aren't charged, and that's bad. Oops. The master's a little loud. I'll turn it down to like 15. Sorry it's so loud. I wish you could turn out the voices. I don't like them. If I go over the heads or something. Quite fun. Pig is handy, I gotta say. A full charge to the back of the head is so bad for them. It's like, oh. I could just go have... I don't have to walk to them. I can just go have the pig fucking aggro him.
The capacitor is empty.
Oh, I don't know. Is there like loot in here that I should look at? Should I look at these things that are lying around? Is there like chests and stuff? Just gonna have a look around, see if there's anything lootable. Yeah, like a box. Nice, nice, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a free pickaxe. I don't have to buy. Wait, why do I have a spear on my pig? Sturdy boar spear with long handle. I don't know. Corrupt. At that point, she hates the pig so much she just lets me wail on her. Which is a bad proposition for her. Okay, these guys I can just take unless one of them is a boss or something. Yeah, these guys I can just full-blown take, like, right now. I should loot them. And heal, because you never know if somebody's coming or what. Oh, they came. Get him, pig. Those dirty so-and-sos. Show them what's what, pig. That'll do. That'll do, pig. Does like a boss spawn or something? Wait, what did I see? Magic reflection. Oh yeah, but I already have that one. Oh cool, it goes deeper. Oh cool, I can bandage the pig while I have the spear out, which is so overpowered. I forgot all about that. Nice, yeah, that's some good stuff right there. Yeah, like hopefully vendor's high. Maybe vendor loot. Wow, even more dudes. Oh no. Get up. I think I hear her fighting somewhere else, which is weird. Good pig. Down you go, bitch. Nice, it's a gold and 44 jadeite. Damn, there was a lot of stuff in this one. Spelt bread. Rough white opal worth of gold. Oh no, I don't like that sound. Interesting. Good fight. Okay. Well, I got the mission done. I don't really care about the pig or the set. It sucks I didn't get the heads out because that's like 10 gold or something, but I can get that mining trees. Yeah. It was fun. I got it done. Yeah. Sucks I lost the set. I have to go out. Next time I have to go out and find pigs. But that's immortal, you know. So we'll quit here because there's nothing else to do. It was a good fight. I almost got him, you know. I was being hurt so badly. It's always some 2v1 or something that's just you know, that's dishonorable. I wish it was a fair fight, you know? I faced so many dishonorable fights that I don't remember the last honorable one, you know? It's unfortunate, but yeah. So that's the way the ball bounces sometimes, 2v1s and stuff like that. It's bullshit. I could have killed him if it wasn't 2v1. Fucking bullshit. I didn't do any damage to that guy at all. What the fuck was that?
Warp drive active.
Go on some rust now. Do some farming. Rust hardcore zombies.
Docking request accepted.
I was like, I keep hearing weapons, and I was like, I keep hearing weapons, and I was like, what the fuck? I stabbed him, what was that, 18 times in the back, full charge with a spear. It's the game. The game sucks. It's not me. Whatever. Five people, not bad. Bedtime soon. Pretty soon. I actually enjoyed that experience a lot. I don't mind that I lost it to a 2v1 because it feels like, you know, like that's just the game. It felt like good. It actually felt good. I gave it my all. I should have killed that guy. I don't know. I don't know why I couldn't kill him. I stabbed him in the back so many goddamn times. He should have died. He was not blocking me. I don't know how he lived. He was like draining my pet, I guess. I don't know. Those guys were nasty as fuck. They had like zombies and a tamer They were Necromancer Tamer, and they were fucking nasty. There was no way I was gonna win that. Did you see all those skeletons? Fucking crazy. Ah, my lovely base. Gotta run my kit. Let's research the revolver. And I'll go buy a couple from the bandit camp. Ah, yes, another automatic weapon. Very good. Let's take a full stack of ammo because we can afford it. Metal. Hey, metal. Metal and sulfur. Yep, nice. Oh, the metal and sulfur you can take. We produce resources. You're not allowed to put food in a normal box. Yes, you are. Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, going out cheaper. Time of day is it? It's 12:30. Let's use the observation tower. Oh, I can look at this beautiful area. Oh, look, this idiot got back on my base. Or maybe that was always there. I don't know. Maybe I never broke it or whatever. There's nothing up there, moron. Well, let's shoot at least one zombie from the roof so that I can get them. I love Rust. Hey, it's playing better because it's not like prime time and my shit isn't all fucked up. Oh, I missed him. This was nice of him. Actually, I don't mind that, actually, right there. That's not bad. How many? 5 nails to kill dude. It's not really worth it, but it's nice in an emergency. Yay for XP. Oh, did I spend my points? Oh, I have an available point. So Buildcraft, huh? Oh, we got access granted. Oh, no, get out. Oops, reload. You can look in there. There's nothing there, you idiot. There's not even a roof on it. Master's too loud. Oh, there was something I wanted to do. I forgot. While it's light. Oops. Do that instead. Son of a bitch. Okay, son of a bitch. Oh well. Right? I mean, yeah, I mean, that's probably fine. Nice! Night vision goggles and a shotgun trap! Ooh, 4 tech trash. Hey, suppressor! A lot of stuff I need. Fucking sweet. Just gonna go run over here real right quick. Grab the diesel. Oof, little scary, but I did it. Little iffy. Little iffy, you know, but I did it. Smooth as silk. Gotta guide her on in like sex and just, you know, slowly but surely. Get her on in there. Very minute movements, you know. And when you're about to, like, put just the tip in. There it is. Oh, yeah. Full penetration. Successful penetration. Successful run. Cha-ching! Yeah! I didn't even scratch up the Hellion anywhere for him. We do that once a day to keep the training going. Nice, yeah. We'll take this suppressor because it does kind of like open up my capability quite a bit. I can go out with suppressed Glock now on like the roof and shoot zombies and stuff like that, and it doesn't matter. Yep, which is good. And I mean, honestly, I would like this thing too, but the night vision goggles also open up my repertoire quite strongly. So we'll do that. I want those in my head. I want to learn, because if I'm raided, I want those. Muzzle brake next, I guess, because it is a good tool. I like muzzle brake, you know, negative recoil, so you can just go brah, 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 brah. But, I mean, it's expensive. Might as well put it in my fucking head, though. Oh, well, I don't know. I'm moving towards a T2 before I do that, though. So, or, well, I don't know. I do want shotgun trap no matter what, so we'll do shotgun trap is what we'll do. Because that I can use and I can make. I don't know if I have any gears in here, but I don't think I do. But when I do get gears, I will make shotgun traps and put them under that fucking door. So they have a whole nother problem. If they're trying to satchel raid this fucking place, they won't be able to do the shotgun trap, you know? But I need gears for that and I don't have it. Pop dropped. Let's see if anybody's shown up. Green Grebe, Mario the Electrician, and player name. So we see the harassment is about to start. I don't really see why I need to play that game. So, you know, or I don't know, maybe they just like logged or something. I don't know. Let's see what we can do under the harassment. I don't care if I lose this nail gun set. But, however, if I embarrass them, that's me winning on stream. So, you know, let's be open to the idea of actually profiting off of it, kind of. Could look pretty good here, stomping the stream snipe twice in a day, in the same day. Just totally fucking shut them down. It'd be hilarious. So here we go. Now everybody the fuck knows I'm here. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, those trees don't protect me in any way or form, so I'm just gonna get rid of them. They're actually kind of harmful. People can like hide in here and kind of sneak up on me and stuff. I'll stick 3 away and keep going. Mega farming. It's good for both XP and loot, you know? Thought I heard something. It's like, what's that sound? What's that sound? Now, this is a lot of wood. stuff. This is the garden stuff, right? Yeah. It's cool that you can buy it. I should put a lattice of soil things. What? Oh no, did he disable this? I think he did. He had disabled this. Oh, come on, really? Oh, well, I guess, I mean, what can I do? I mean, that sucks that he did this, though. Oh, well, I have wood. Yeah, I suppose it was a nice way to get ahead. You know, whatever. Nah, I'll wait till he shows. Okay, got some XP, got some loot, learned something, did a run to Dome. It was a good rest run. Gonna leave before the harassment starts, you know. Hells yeah. Winning. Wow, classic fresh, huh? No, it's just it's just a new WoW classic. It's dumb. I can't believe now they're cashing in on something that they thought we didn't need. That's insane.
Had gone by. Wouldn't one of the first things you did be to get rid of the distinctive helmet, sell your bike, and throw the now damaged?
I can't really go back into it. I've got to go back to. I've got to go to bed. It sucks. Yeah, there's nothing really I want to do tonight. I guess I'll log off this section and I'll go to 76 and I'll log in and I'll get my 76 daily because sometimes it's caps and yeah, and then I'll go to bed. It's Saturday night, but I mean I have something I got to do in the morning, so and I'm gonna go exercise too. Oh no, I don't exercise tomorrow because I have a whole bunch of labor I got to do. Oh, abnormal bones. Okay. Okay, so if I go to the outpost or the outfitter or yeah, the outfitting thing. $23. Yeah, this for all of these, huh? Yep. Wow. Yep. Logging's to 209, which is good because I can do the fancy trees now, I think. 212. 215. Yeah, I don't have anything pressing I have to do on this game. I'm going to go log on 76 briefly and then go to bed. I'm brain dead and slow. Yeah, it's time to go to bed. Time to go to bed. Time to go to bed. All right. 76. Where are you? 76, 76, 76, 76. 76, 76. Supply package, not bad. I think to close the night, I will go play my Black Mage for a few minutes. It's 65. I don't really know totally where to go, but I believe it's well, I don't know. Do I want to do this? Yeah, I mean, I can. No, I'm going to pay for it tomorrow. Never mind. Unfortunately, I will stay here and log. It sucks. I hate bailing early on a Saturday night. It's so not gamer of me, but I mean, I do have things I've got to do tomorrow. It fucking sucks. So here we go. And I will close out here. Okay, guys, this, I don't know, 12-hour session was recorded. Some of it I lost, some of it I didn't lose, some of it I got, some of it I didn't get. Had a lot of disconnects and problems today for some reason. I don't know why. But anyways, you've been watching Skycat Live, and I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Click on the cast face to donate. Come to my Twitch or my YouTube or my Facebook or, all this stuff, and give me a like, sub, or a follow, and thank you so much for your time. Now, I have many thousands of videos on my, I have a couple of thousands of videos on my YouTube channel here, and this session will be placed in its entirety on my YouTube session. Oh, what happened there? Wait, what happened here? Oh my God. I thought you said you were done. 3 and 4 are those, I think. I need that to finish. 3, is it 83? Wait, 83. Doesn't say, oh yeah, 83, that is it, yeah. And then 83 and 94. Well, at least they're working now. So yeah, and today's session will be placed on my YouTube now, and come to my channel, and I have lots of videos. And thank you so much for your time, guys. I love you. Thank you so much for your time. I will shut off here and stop the recording, and y'all take care.